When's the last time you cleaned your condenser coil? Do you like paying extra money for air conditioning? Because having a dirty condenser is one of the key causes of that extra cost. The reason for that is the condensing coil is taking the heat from inside your house, and the fan that's in the top of it is drawing air in through the sides, extracting through the middle and top to expel that heat into atmosphere. When you have a dirty coil, that heat exchange can't happen as efficiently, and it has to run longer, costing more money. In this video, we're going to walk through 3 techniques that anybody can do, even one so simple a child can do it. Those techniques include water rinsing only, mechanical cleaning with water rinsing, and finally, mechanical cleaning with chemical assistance and water rinsing. Cleaning the condenser coil is just one of many maintenance items that you need to pay attention to with your air conditioning system. You can check out this video that I put up above here where I walk through 6 simple steps of the different things that you should check to make sure that it's running at peak efficiency, with cleaning the condenser being one of those. Before you get started with any cleaning, it's really important to always make sure you take care of overgrown landscaping. This is one of the most common problems that exists with blocking the airflow that goes in through the sides and out through the top. Important tip: don't plant your landscaping so close to your condensing unit. It will grow over time. The next thing you need to do is evaluate the condition and how dirty is it and what is it dirty with. In this case, the unit has multiple places of pretty severe damage on the fins, and when those fins are laid over, that prevents air from drawing in and then going up through the middle, making it less efficient. This one doesn't have a whole lot of physical debris on the front. Here there's some signs of cottonwood from a cottonwood tree. It's also very common that you get grass that's embedded in when people mow the lawn, and it draws it in and it gets stuck against the face. Kneel down, you can typically see through to determine if you can see light, such as up there. That's the light coming in through the top of the fan. You also want to pay close attention to see if you have any type of tree sap or grease that might be from an exhaust vent from a kitchen, for example, because those are types of things that are very sticky that are going to cause other things to adhere to it that you might need to deal with differently from a treatment perspective. The first technique is simple water rinsing. This is something anybody can do, even your children can do, and you can do this from the exterior, washing just in. Now this particular unit has a lot of damage we'll fix later, but imagine your entire unit looked like this top section where it's just kind of dusty and dirty. You can take your garden hose and simply run it on the outside and flush that debris in. Units have drain holes for that water to be able to seep out, just like when rain comes down from the top, it's got to leach out the bottom. A very simple technique that you can do without any disassembly. Now, if this is your first time ever rinsing a condenser coil, it's important that you understand it's all about flow. It is not about pressure. These fins are very sensitive. If I take my finger and just push a little bit, you can see that I just bent those over. It's all about flow to push through those fins and flush that debris out and carry it out with the water. Never, ever, under any circumstance, use a pressure washer. You will flatten every single fin, and you will be miserable trying to get them standing back straight. Real quick before we carry on, if you enjoy the content I make for you guys, hit the like button. It does make a difference to support me in this channel. Also, I'm very curious. Let me know in the comments, when is the last time you cleaned your condenser? Or also, what's the frequency you clean it? And for any of the tools that I'm using, I'll drop links down below in the description in case you want to check them out and see what it is that I'm using. The second technique is what most people would probably do: mechanical cleaning with water rinsing and not messing with chemicals. The majority of the time, you really don't need to use chemicals. To do this level of technique, you need a few extra tools. I always bring along some kind of a vac because I'm working remote. I'm using my Milwaukee M18 pack-out vac. I particularly like this because it's portable and it has this tool with brushes built into it, so I can actually brush the fins and try to get some mechanical cleaning. If you have a simple hand brush, works really well, particularly with small short bristles that you can use to brush the fins. Not only help to straighten them a little bit, to get some mechanical agitation. If you have a lot of really damaged fins like on this one, or a significant amount of debris that's matted into the fins, having these fin combs like this one is really helpful. This is a kit that I bought from Amazon a while back. These colored fins are different sizes depending on the fin spacing. I don't particularly find these useful. I like this metal fin. I can get in and it combs them very nice, which we'll do in just a little bit. The other thing when you're doing mechanical cleaning and even water rinsing, you're usually going to have to remove remove some kind of panels on the exterior. This one, I can get to the fins, but to get to the inside and rinse from the inside out, we're gonna have to take the top off and we're gonna have to take the exterior cage off. So you will need some kind of a screwdriver or nut driver. I also typically bring along one of my little Milwaukee M12 drills. This one is pretty slick because the top front pulls off, and I can put on this particular angle attachment, which allows me to go in any direction, especially when I'm trying to get back behind the units if it's up close to the house, and that 90 degrees is really helpful. Before we disassemble this unit, we need to make sure that we disable it. Typically, your condensing unit is going to have a disconnect close by. This is a pull style where I can remove this link. You see when it's pushed in one direction it's on, the other direction is off as a storage location. I typically like to just put it in my pocket. If you do not have a mechanical disconnect nearby, you're going to have to go and find the circuit breaker that will turn power off to that condensing unit. In this case, with that fusible link removed, I know this unit cannot run. If you turn it off at a breaker or other source, I strongly encourage you to go to the thermostat, turn it to where it tries to cool. Make sure that the machine does not turn on, because you don't want to have that fan out and have it turn on and potentially expose yourself to danger. The third technique is to build upon the second one, and that is to use not only mechanical agitation with water rinsing, but in the middle, add in a chemical treatment. There's all kinds of different chemical treatments you can use. Many people will use something as simple as Dawn dish soap with some water to splash on to let that soak into the fins and loosen up some of that grease and dirt and debris that's adhered to it. There are very specific products that many HVAC contractors will use. I personally, like many people, just use Simple Green because I have it in my garage. I already have spray bottles mixed up because I use it on cars and such all the time. It's a great product for degreasing, and it's safe on all metals. That's the key thing, is that whatever you use is safe on metals. Inside of your condenser coil, you're dealing with brass and copper and aluminum and steel, and the last thing you want to do is something that eats that metal and causes bigger problems. If you don't want to mess with mixing up products, there's also some aerosol spray foaming products, such as one from New Calgon and Frost King that I've used in the past, but for the expense of what they are, I typically just use what I have. Let's get the exterior pulled off. We'll mechanically comb this condenser to get it back straight. We'll wash it with Simple Green, and then we'll rinse it from the inside out. Down on the inside, you can see there's some debris. There's the compressor. And here's your weep holes on the bottom that are filled with dirt. We need to make sure those are cleaned out. Reminder, it's easiest to get this out when it's dry before you spray water inside of it. One of the things I like about having a vacuum is before you get chemical and water on the unit that makes all that stuff sticky, I'll actually take this, switch it around into blower mode, and I can blow from the inside out and try to get all that debris out of the coil as much as possible before I soak it down. See if we can get some of this fin damage out with our fin comb. This is something you need to be fairly gentle with. These fins are very sensitive to being tipped over. Sometimes it's not worth it because as you keep messing with it, you could damage it more. Got this bigger one and some of these other ones combed out as best I could. This down here on the bottom is actually a whole bunch of mold and mildew and buildup. We'll use our Simple Green and we'll see if we can loosen that up. I'm going to spray it down with Simple Green. I'll give it probably 15 minutes to set and work itself in. Now this particular condensing unit is just a single row of coils. You may have a double row where there's two, so it may be advantageous to spray both the outside and the inside to try to get to that second coil. Time for a cold drink while we wait for our cleaner to soak. It's been about 10 minutes of soaking. I'm going to take my brush, soak it down with Simple Green, and I'm going to give it a little mechanical agitation and then let it wait for another 5 to 10 minutes before I rinse it out. So it's time to rinse our coil. You can use a spray gun. I personally just like to let it come out of the hose because you can get the biggest volume coming out. Again, it's all about flow. We're going to wash from the inside out, from the top down, and let that stuff flush. There's a lot of dirt coming out down there on the bottom. See, spraying the water through the bottom, how restricted it is. If the water can't get through, air can't get through. It was really dirty. It hadn't been touched in a long time. We got all that landscaping out of the way. So a big question, how often should you do this? I do mine at least on an annual basis. I'd be curious, how frequently are you cleaning your condenser? Critical maintenance to make sure that your air stays cooling quicker, more efficiently. I'm going to let this all dry before I put it back together. A quick reminder, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, subscribe. Also, I'll drop links in the description if you want to check out the tools that I've been using. Reminder to put your disconnect back in the correct orientation. If we place it in like this, it won't run. Put it in like this where we can read on so that the fan can run. I hope my tips were helpful for you. Let me know in the comments if you do something different. I'm always looking forward to learning as well. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'm James with Learn from Dad. Stay curious, friends.